Hello everybody, Untitled back again with another video, and somebody just wrote me a comment and said, Terry, we have a tennis tournament going around in Miami. You are talking about the big three. Just leave the big three alone and talk about Miami. How can I leave the big three alone? The greatest three tennis players of all time that we have ever seen, the consistency machines, the three best tennis players that we have ever seen who has 61 Grand Slam titles together, and it will be more. How can I just leave them alone? How can I stop speaking about them? It is not so easy. They have taken this sport to heights that this beautiful sport has never seen before. First, we had Federer, who was just cruising on the ATP Tour. He was in cruise control and was beating everybody and was winning majors after majors and 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 winning majors after majors. And then Rafa Nadal came around. Rafa Nadal said, all right, I have to do something to this dominant tennis player called Roger Federer. I will show him that he definitely is not unstoppable. And the first ever meeting between them in Miami 2004, Nadal takes him out in straight set, bam, bam! Federer was world number one back then. Nadal was only 17 years old. And the rest is history. Rafa Nadal came up to the scene for the first time, at least for the first time I ever saw him. When I saw him as a teenager, and I said, who is this guy? He had long shorts and was looking like a pirate on a tennis court. And he took out Roger Federer, the world number one back then, in straight sets in Miami. And then we all know Rafa Nadal became a long-time rival for Roger Federer. And he was the player who stopped Roger Federer in Wimbledon 2008 when Roger Federer was going for his 6th straight Wimbledon title with that epic Wimbledon final back in 2008. And Rafa, of course, that was stopping Roger Federer in many French Open finals. Roger Federer actually never had a chance against Rafa Nadal in all the 6 meetings that they faced each other in French Open. 4 in finals and 2 in semi-finals. Roger never took Rafa to a 5-set battle there. He lost all those 6 meetings straight sets or 4 sets. And if that was not enough, we got one superstar from Switzerland, and then we got the other superstar from Spain. Novak Djokovic came up all of a sudden. I will be honest with you, when I first ever saw Federer back in 2001 against Pistol Pete Sampras in Wimbledon, I immediately saw that he's a special talent. When I first ever saw Nadal against Federer back in 2004, like I said in Miami, when he defeated Federer in straight sets, I said, this guy, his defensive skills are unbelievable. His forehand, even though he's so young, is a deadly shot. His movement on the court, the way he covers the court, he's out of this world. His serve was not the greatest back then. He developed his serve through the years. It never became, Rafa's serve never became beast serve, to say the least, but he got better and better as older he got, Rafa Nadal. But I saw immediately when I saw Nadal back in 2004 when he faced Federer in that Miami match that this is a special player. I really did. And actually I called Nadal to win the French Open back in 2005. It's true, I didn't do YouTube back then, of course, but when people was asking me who do you believe will win French Open back in 2005, when he almost defeated Federer in that 2005 Miami Open final, I said, this is the dude who will win French Open. And when they faced each other in the semi-final in French Open, many of my friends and family, they was asking me, who do you believe will win? I said Nadal, and they were laughing at me, actually, to be quite honest. They were laughing. They said, this kid who has never won a major will defeat Roger Federer, who is a multiple Grand Slam champion. I said, yes, this kid will defeat him, and I was right. And he will win the entire tournament, which he did, of course. Then Djokovic, he came up, all of a sudden, the first time I ever saw Djokovic was back in 2006. Back in 2006, yes. No, not 2006. Back in 2007, the first ever time I saw him was when he faced Roger Federer in that Australian Open fourth round match. Djokovic was 19 years old, if I'm not mistaken. 18 years old back in 2007, because his birthday is in May. So he was 18 years old back in 2007. Novak Djokovic, when he faced Roger Federer, and 19, he was 19 years old. Yeah, back in 2007, he was 19 years old, my tennis friends all around the world. Because he will be 20 later on in the same year in May. So, and he lost his straight sets, Novak Djokovic. And I didn't think back then that this is a special player. Federer didn't have any troubles with him. He took him out straight sets, no problem at all. I never got the impression from Novak Djokovic when he faced Roger Federer in that 2007 fourth round match in Australian Open that this guy will become one of the greatest tennis players of all time. I never got that feeling. I never even got the feeling that this guy will be a double-digit Grand Slam winner. I truly never got that feeling. I will not sit here and lie, because you know, guys, I hate lying. I thought that this is a talent, and this will maybe be a multiple Grand Slam champion, but never in my wildest fantasy did I believe that Novak Djokovic will be a double-digit Grand Slam champion, let alone becoming one of the greatest tennis players of all time. Federer and Nadal, I had a little feeling, not that they will be one of the greatest tennis players of all time when I first ever saw them, because that is impossible to predict, but I had a feeling these two guys will be big champions, and there will be multiple Grand Slam champions, and maybe double-digit Grand Slam champions. About Federer and Nadal. Never about Djokovic. Djokovic, he took me with storm. Djokovic, he surprised me. When he did that 2011 season, for me, the greatest tennis season of all time. Some of you maybe hold Federer seasons, 2004 and 2006 or 7, when Federer won 3 Grand Slam champions in those 3 different years. 3 Grand Slam titles, I mean, in those 3 different years. 9 Grand Slam titles in together, 2004, 6 and 7. But Federer was facing completely different opponents. I don't want to talk about that because that is a different video. Federer had a much easier time when he won those 9 Grand Slam titles in 2004, 6 and 7. Enough said about that. Djokovic, when he did that out of this world season in 2011, he was defeating Federer and he was defeating a great Nadal. Nadal was not old, Nadal was not hurt, Nadal was not in bad shape. Nadal was the second best tennis player in the world. He was beating everybody besides Novak Djokovic. Novak Djokovic was unhuman that year. Who saw that coming? Just tell me, do we have somebody out there in the world, I don't care where you are, which part of the world you are, did someone see that coming? Djokovic didn't do any special in 2010 season. He made 1 Grand Slam final in US Open, lost to Nadal in 4 sets. Didn't play any finals besides that in Grand Slams in 2010. Didn't play any Grand Slam finals in 2009. Won his first ever Grand Slam title in 2008 when he won the Australian Open as 20 years old. After that, he disappeared for 2.5 years. And all of a sudden, he won the Davis Cup with Serbia in 2010. So that gave him a boost of confidence. But besides that, other than the US Open final, which he lost against Nadal, like I said, in 2010, besides that, he didn't do any special. And all of a sudden, he became a beast in 2011. He became a monster. He became a predator. He became a cyborg. He became a Terminator. You name it. He just destroyed everybody and did one of the greatest tennis seasons of all time. According to me, the greatest tennis season of all time. In the results, he did a better season in 2015. We won more titles in 2015. He played more Grand Slam finals in 2015. We know because in 2015 he played all the 4 Grand Slam finals. In 2011 he didn't do that. He lost in the semifinals in French Open, like we all know, from Roger Federer. Roger Federer took him out in the semifinals. But the competition he faced, and not a super old Federer, not a super old Nadal, not in bad shape Federer, not in bad shape Nadal. He took them apart. 2 of the greatest tennis players of all time. And everybody was talking about Federer and Nadal. Nobody was talking about Djokovic. All of a sudden, a kid from Serbia, he told everybody, he sent the message to the world and said, you know what? The Federer romance is over. The Federer love is over. The Federer and Nadal dominance is over. Here is the lion coming, and I'm stopping them. And I'm showing to the world that it is not only these 2 who will win Grand Slam titles. I bloody will win Grand Slam titles as well. And he did. And the rest is history. I didn't see that coming. I never thought that Djokovic would be a double-digit Grand Slam titleist. Never in my wildest fantasy. A multiple Grand Slam titleist? Yeah, why not? He had potential. He was fast on court, he was a speed demon. He had a he had a good serve, good forehand. Decent forehand back then, when he was 17, 18 years old. His forehand was not his backhand was more famous when he was young, but he improved his forehand with age, Novak Djokovic. But he had great returns, good serve, great movement, good attitude on his head. So he had the potential, but I never saw that he would win double-digit Grand Slams. Never. Let alone winning 20 Grand Slam titles like he has done. I never in my wildest fantasy believed that. He has proved me wrong. I lift my hat. I don't have any hat. I wish I had. He has proved me wrong. And I really am convinced that he has proved a lot of tennis people around the world wrong. I truly believe that. So Djokovic has been, first we had Federer, then we had Nadal. Federer was dominating the tour. Then Nadal started to dominate the tour, at least the clay tour. But later on also hard courts and grass, especially hard courts. The dude has won US Open 4 times. Come on. He has won US Open more than Novak Djokovic. Novak Djokovic, who is the greatest hard court player of all time, with 12 hard court Grand Slam titles. Nobody has won more hard court Grand Slam titles than Novak Djokovic. He has won 12. Second after him, it is Federer with 11. So, and Nadal has more US Open Grand Slam titles than Novak Djokovic. And the reason to that is because Novak Djokovic has not been clutch on his 8 US Open finals that he has played. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he has played 8 US Open finals, Novak Djokovic, and he has lost 5 of them and won only 3 of them. If I'm not mistaken, Djokovic has played 8 US Open finals. That is a lot of US Open finals. And he has lost 5 of them. Maybe even 6. Let me think here. He has lost 1 against Murray. He has lost 2 against Nadal. There we have 3. He has lost 1 against Medvedev. There we have 4. And then he has lost 1 against Federer. Then we have 5. And he has lost 1 against Wawrinka. There we have 6. I'm sorry, he has lost. He has played 9 US Open finals, Novak Djokovic. And he has lost unbelievably 6 of those US Open finals. 6. and won only 3 of those 9 US Open finals. So there you have the reason why Nadal has been much more successful at US Open than Novak Djokovic, even though that Novak Djokovic is the greatest hard court player of all time with 12 hard court Grand Slam titles. 9 at Australian Open and 3 at US Open. Nadal has played only 5 US Open finals, but he has won 4 of them. Anyway, Djokovic was a big surprise when he took out both of Nadal and Federer. He dominated both Nadal and Federer. Nobody saw that coming. Not me, and I'm pretty convinced that not many in the world as well. No. That was a big surprise. He took out, he took down, he took both Nadal and Federer to Chinatown and took them apart and stopped them, especially Federer. Let's be honest, I'm a Federer fan. I love Federer's playing style. I don't love Federer as a human being. I will not sit here and lie. I truly don't. But as a tennis player, I love his gracious, effortless, beautiful first strike tennis style that he presents on a tennis court. He plays so beautiful. He has a much more beautiful tennis style than both Nadal and Djokovic. Federer will be the greatest tennis player of all time without any competition when it comes to playing tennis with beautiful style. But Federer, when Novak Djokovic became the beast he became in 2011, he showed to the world that Federer is not the greatest tennis player of all time. He has won many titles, Roger Federer, and he has deserved all of them. But he has had, let's be honest, a lot of luck doing his way. He has had that, guys. Let's be honest now. Let's be honest. Roger Federer was not an old dude back in 2010, back in 2011, back in 2012, back in 2013, back in 2014, back in 2015. He was not an old dude. And he actually improved both his returns and his backhand when he faced beast mode Novak Djokovic back in 2011 and forward. He had a better backhand and returns compared that when he faced Safin, Roddick and Hewitt. Don't believe me. If you believe Inter Interi lies, go watch the matches when Federer faced Safin, Hewitt and Roddick. Go watch them. If the backhand and returns Federer had against those 3 dudes was better than when he faced Nadal and Djokovic, when Nadal and Djokovic became 25 years old and older. Federer improved his backhand and his returns as older he got. But that didn't help against Djokovic because Djokovic is a complete player. Djokovic is an insane player. Djokovic is a tennis machine who will not, he at least became that from 2011 and forward. That's why Federer won 15 Grand Slam titles back from 2003 to 2010. In 7 years, he won 15 Grand Slam titles, but from 2010 to 2022, in 12 years, he has won only 5. Forget the last 4 years, because the Federer is obviously old the last 4 years. But from 2010 to 2015, Federer was not crazy old, and Federer was not in decline. He was beating more or less everybody besides Djokovic and Nadal, especially Djokovic, because Nadal he started to beat lately. All right, that was a big surprise when Novak Djokovic entered the scene in 2011 and was an unstoppable beast, predator, cyborg tennis player. Didn't see that coming, and I'm pretty convinced that you didn't see that either. So, how can I stop talking about these big 3? The big 3 has made this sport a global sport. People who doesn't follow tennis, they know what tennis is about, all because of these 3, Federer, Nadal and Djokovic. When the big 3 are not around, many people around the world, they lose tennis interest. I don't, but I will be honest with you, I don't watch tennis like a slave if Federer, Nadal and Djokovic are not around. I have barely watched Miami. I watched some matches here and there, but not much, because I don't have time either. I have kids, I have work, I have wife. I have a lot of things to do, guys. A lot of things to do Today is my off day from work, and that's why I have time doing this video. Because when I work, I cannot do videos. I can't. I'm busy. So, but enough about the big three. But the answer to that comment that wrote me, stop talking about the big three, I cannot stop talking about them. They are too big of a players to stop talking about them. I will eventually one day stop talking about them. I will do that. Of course, everything has an end. When that day will come, I don't know. Alright, let's talk a little about Miami. We have 8 left men standing. Who do I believe will win this tournament? I think it will be Medvedev or Zverev. These are the 2 players who has won most Masters. I think Medvedev has won 4 Masters, and I think Zverev has won 4 Masters. Correct me if I'm wrong. So it is most likely that one of these 2 will win the Miami Open. And I think that these 2 will face each other in the final. Now Medvedev will face Hurkacz in the quarters. It is 2-1 in the head-to-head between those 2. All those 3 meetings has been in last year's season. I think Medvedev will defeat Hurkacz. Hurkacz, who won Miami last year, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think Hurkacz will defend his title from last year. All respect to Hurkacz, but Medvedev, he's a better player. He's a more consistent player. Medvedev will never be a double-digit Grand Slam champion. Let's be honest. We don't have any player who are not named Nadal, Federer, or Djokovic who will be double-digit Grand Slam champion. The only player I will be reserved on is Carlos Alcaraz. That kid, he has big potential. He has firepower. He has movement. He has consistency. He has forehand. He has backhand. He has returns. The only thing that is missing in his game, it is his serve. But he's young. He's only 18 years old, so he will improve that serve like Nadal did. Nadal didn't have the greatest serve either when he was 18 years old. But I don't think that Carlos Alcaraz will never get a Federer serve or Djokovic serve. He will never do it. Like Nadal never did. But Nadal won 21 majors and will still keep on winning if he's healthy with his unbelievable baseline game. So maybe Carlos Alcaraz will do the same. But I never think Carlos Alcaraz will be a big player as like Federer, Nadal, or Djokovic, because these 3 are special. These kind of players you don't get a lot. You don't get very often. But I definitely think Carlos Alcaraz will be a multiple Grand Slam champion. From all these players, I will not mention their names. You know who they are. I think Carlos Alcaraz has the biggest potential to becoming the biggest champion of these players. Zverev is not crazy young anymore. Medvedev is not crazy young anymore. Shapovalov, I don't even want to talk about him. That is a waste of time. Stefan Tsitsipas, he's becoming more famous on YouTube than he's doing on a tennis court, because he's not showing any consistency results, to be quite honest. Stefan Tsitsipas, he lost to Carlos Alcaraz. Am I surprised? No, not at all. I even almost saw that coming. If I would have bet money, I most likely would have bet money on Carlos Alcaraz. Not that I bet money on tennis matches, but if I would have done that, I would put my money on Carlos Alcaraz beating Stefan Tsitsipas. He has just 2 weeks of returns, 2 weeks of backhand, Stefan Tsitsipas. And when you face super great athletes on this highest level, it will not be enough. He has only won 1 Masters 1000 title, Stefan Tsitsipas, and he has been around for 4 or 5 years now, and has played only 1 Grand Slam final. So Carlos Alcaraz is the player. I think he definitely will be a multiple Grand Slam champion. How many he will win, I don't know. Maybe he can win double digit, but all the other players like Zverev, Medvedev, Tsitsipas, Shapovalov, Berrettini, forget them that they will be double-digit Grand Slam champions. Just forget them. Anyway, I think Medvedev beats Hurkacz. Then we have Carlos Alcaraz against that Argentinian qualifier. I think Carlos Alcaraz will take out the Argentinian qualifier. That is my feeling. Then we have Sinner. No, I'm sorry. Carlos Alcaraz will face Kashmanovic. I'm sorry. Kashmanovic, the player who took out Taylor Fritz. I think Carlos Alcaraz takes out Kecmanovic. They have never faced each other. The head-to-head is 0-0. They have never faced each other, so you never know how they will match up against each other. So I think Carlos will take him out. That is my feeling. It is hard to predict this one because Kecmanovic is also a young dude from Serbia. He hits the ball very clean. He is a clean ball striker. He moves good on the court. He doesn't have the biggest serve, exactly like Carlos as well, but he has a pretty good forehand, decent backhand. So I think he can trouble Carlos. I will not be surprised if he takes out Carlos. I will not. Let's be honest. To predict tennis matches, especially when they are not named Federer, Nadal, or Djokovic, is extremely difficult. So, but I will go with Carlos here. I think Carlos will be too consistent, too heavy from the baseline, and I think Carlos will out-hit and outpower and hit through Kecmanovic and take him out in 3 sets. I have a feeling it will go to 3. I think Medvedev will take out Hurkacz in straights. So I think we will have a semi-final between Medvedev and Carlos Alcaraz. That will be a fun one. That will be an excitement one. And then from the bottom section of the draw, we have Sinner against that Argentinian dude, the qualifier from Argentina, who I actually never heard about, and I don't remember his name. And these two players have never faced each other either. Sinner, who took out the tennis bad boy Nick Kyrgios. Nick Kyrgios is good. I'm not spoken about a lot about Nick Kyrgios. Nick Kyrgios is good for tennis. Nick Kyrgios is a fun tennis player to watch. He gives a lot of entertainment on a tennis court. But Nick Kyrgios is really a horrible player outside the tennis courts. He is rude to journalists. He is cocky to journalists. He makes fun to journalists. I know journalists ask stupid questions, but have they never asked stupid questions to Federer, to Nadal, or to Djokovic? But they are almost, not always, but they almost always try to be polite. Nick Kyrgios, do you not have better question than that? How did you come up with that question? That question is so stupid. I know he's crazy honest, and I love honest people, but I don't love rude people. I'm a very nice guy. I don't want to make. I really don't want to credit myself, but so I will not speak about myself. But I hate rude people. I hate people who humiliates other people's. And Nick Kyrgios, he humiliates. Let's say the word right in English. He humiliates other people, especially the journalist. He's great on the tennis court. He's fun to watch. I really like him. I like watching him play tennis, but I don't like him outside the court. I really don't. Exactly like Zverev. I will speak about Zverev soon. So Sinner took out Nick Kyrgios in straight sets. So I think Sinner will take out this Argentine qualifier also in straight sets. So I think Sinner will win his quarterfinal match, and then the last match on the bottom section of the draw is between Zverev and Rude. And Sinner and this, I don't know if I said it, Sinner and this Argentine dude has never played each other either, so the head-to-head is 0-0, so you never know how they will match up, but Sinner is a better player. Sinner is a more consistent player. He has the backhand, he has the forehand, he hits the ball so hard. Sinner's serve needs to get improved too. He doesn't serve as bad as Carlos Alcaraz, but considering how big of a dude Sinner is, he should serve better than he does. So, other than that, yeah, Sinner he's not a speed demon either. So if you attack Sinner and if you dictate the points, you can hurt Sinner. But I don't think that this Argentinian dude is good enough of a tennis player, consistent enough of a tennis player to attack and to dictate the rallies to hurt Sinner. So I don't think he will hurt Sinner. So I think Sinner's big hitting game will hurt this Argentinian dude, and Sinner will win the match straight sets. The last quarterfinal match is between Zverev and Rude. The head-to-head is 2-love to Zverev. Rude has never defeated Zverev. He has actually not even taken one set from Zverev. So I think Zverev will win the match in straight sets. So I think we will have semi-final matches between Medvedev and Carlos Alcaraz. And from the top section of the draw, and from bottom section of the draw will be between Yannick Sinner against Sasha Zverev. Zverev is a good tennis player. I don't like him out of the court. I don't like when he behaves like an idiot, like he did in Acapulco. But other than that, he's a good tennis player. He's a multiple Master 1000 champion with 4 titles, so he should beat Rude in straight sets and take himself to the semi-final. And I think all in all, I think we'll have a final between Medvedev and Zverev. That is my feeling. Maybe I will be wrong. And who will be the winner from those two? Man, that is a toss-up. That is a really toss-up. I don't know. I will say Medvedev, but I'm not super confident about that. I'm never confident in predicting winners when they are not named Nadal, Federer, Djokovic, because predicting tennis tournaments when the big three are not playing, it is like predicting the Swedish weather, which is almost impossible. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and see you next time. Peace.